What question should you ask at the end of a job interview? What can you ask that hiring manager or that recruiter to help you stand out? That's what I'm going to be talking about today on Just Ask JT. And I'm so excited to share this with you because if you're getting a job interview, that's already pretty tough to do in this current job market. And you don't want to miss out on your chance to stand out so that you can get that job. And the questions that you ask, not just the questions you answer, but the questions that you ask in a job interview can have a massive impact on whether or not you move forward. So let's get into it. So if you're going through a job interview, at the end, they normally will say to you, do you have any questions for us? And it's really important that you do ask some questions because not asking any questions can send a message. It can imply that you're not really into the job and you don't really care. It could indicate that you didn't really prepare for the job. So you didn't research before the interview to have the questions. And so you want to have some questions on the ready, but what you choose to ask will send an impression about you. And so you want to be very strategic because you don't have a lot of time. I mean, they're not going to let you ask 20 questions. You want to ask them questions that are very specific. Now, today, I want to share a few of the questions that I know are foolproof. These are questions that when you ask them, they're going to send the right message. And quite frankly, you're going to get some really good information from that individual. So the way I want you to think about it is that this is your turn to connect. And so your very first question should be a way to deepen the connection between you and the person interviewing you. What do I mean by that? Well, you're not going to ask, how much does it pay? Or what are the benefits like? Right? Those are no questions. We don't ask those types of questions until we're much further along in the hiring process or when we've got an offer. In this phase, we want to learn more about this person and connect with them. So the first question I would ask is something along the lines of, tell me about your journey to working here. How did you come to work for them and what do you like best? See, the entire time you've been giving information about yourself to this person, but why not build a relationship by asking them to share a little bit about themselves? But you're choosing something very positive. You're asking them about their journey, their own career journey that led them to this company. And you're specifically asking them, what do they like best about working here? Now, why do we do that? Because psychologically, as they share that very positive story and information with you, that then connects them to you positively. So when you ask these types of questions, that's how they're remembering you. And so when your first question is about them and, what they love about their job there and how they came to work there, they're going to associate positivity with you. Now, the second question that I like to ask has to do with how the work that you'll be doing in this job impacts them. Because anybody that's interviewing you for a job, if you don't know this little secret, now's the chance to learn it, which is when you're being interviewed by somebody, your work impacts them in some way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be interviewing with them. They wouldn't be part of the interview process. And so it makes complete sense to say to them, how does the work that I'd be doing directly impact your work? And what's one or two things I could do in this job if I got it that would make sure that I'm making your work easier, not harder? I don't want to create work for you. I want to make your job easier. So what would I be able to do in this role for that? And so now what you're doing is acknowledging, look, I understand I need to come in here and make your life easier, not harder, or you're not going to choose me for the job. That's the truth. Why would they interview somebody and go, oh, they're going to make my life a lot harder. Let me choose them. Right? They're trying to figure out in this interview if you will do things the way they need them done so that their work will be easier. I'm not saying you're going to do their job for them. What I'm saying is you can ask them a question about what can I do in this role to better support your efforts so that I'm not creating more work for you, that I'm making your job easier, not harder. All right. So you find your voice and you ask that question. They love this question because now they can tell you everything about how the two of you would work together and what would be the best way to make sure that relationship was really strong. Again, they're now associating very positive thoughts around you because of the type of question that you're asking. Now, the third question I would ask, and notice I've set it up for last, is can you tell me the next steps in the process and what I can do to be proactive? Because you never want to leave a job interview without knowing what are the next steps in the process. So you might say, can you tell me the next steps in the hiring process and what can I do to be proactive about that? Because I would love to move forward. So now they can share with you. And this is important for you because a lot of people don't ask that question. And then you sit around and wonder. You wonder what's going on. a day to you feels like a month. A week to you feels like a year when you don't hear from an employer, right? Well, they've got a lot of other things going on. A day to them feels a minute, like a minute. A week to them feels like an hour. They're too busy. So asking them the structure, they might say, oh, you're the first and we've got 10 more people to interview. It's going to take a good month. All right, now you know. Or they might say, well, we should have a decision within a week and we'll hear from you. And if you don't hear from us, you can call us within a week. Okay, now you know what to do. Because if you don't ask this, you're not going to know the appropriate time to check in and follow up. Those are 3 tried and true types of questions that I have taught all of my members inside Work It Daily as a way to make a very strong impression. Does that make sense to all of you? Not hard, is it? No. And those questions, like I said, the whole point of those 3 questions is to acknowledge that you understand them and that you want to connect with them. That's it. You might have additional questions beyond that, but even just making sure you ask those 3 questions would be the right amount of questions to ask at the end, and you would get a lot of really interesting information. Now, you might do some research and have some very specific questions about the business that would be okay to ask as well. But I would not skip asking these 3 particular questions because of just how effective they are. Now, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to let you inside the secret vault because all of you watching this right now, this is my live free podcast that's part of my free resource center, right? So you all have access to that. No credit cards required, but I want to show you something. When we tell you that we have the ultimate career coaching platform to hyperspeed your success inside Work It Daily, I'm not kidding. And I wanted to show you this because this is inside the private paid community that you all could get free for 7 days. Notice over there on the left, we have brand new courses, literally completed and launched last week, rooted in a year's worth of research about the current market, the 6 most common issues that job seekers face. So issue number 1 is not even getting job interviews. We have a course, that video course takes you right through that. But notice I'm highlighting number 2, you're not getting job offers. And I wanted to show you this new course because it's so spectacular. Now, it says there's 20 lessons in it, but I want you to be clear. You could listen to this whole thing in an hour. They're all little video lessons that you can listen to like a podcast. And you learn the mistakes that you're making, how to prepare to be the must-have candidate. You learn about the buyers and the hiring process. We teach you about the interview process and assessment criteria. Then we teach you about interview prep, the types of interviews, because there are different types of interviews, pre-interview preparation, first round interviews and the types of questions you're going to get, how to structure your answers, right? The questions to ask the interviewer, how to follow up after an interview, how to stand out in second and final interviews. We have our signature job matching matrix, which is a tool you use to help them pick you for the job and to negotiate better pay. We show you how to close the deal in the interview and how to prepare for salary negotiations. And we've got mock interviews, practicing with video, an entire recap, and how to use back channeling using video. Everything you need is in a video course here, along with templates and tutorials, so that you can literally crush the interview process and get it. This is how our clients are winning. This is how our clients are significantly cutting down their job search time because they're coming in here and they're learning step by step and they have something they can go back to and reference. And if they have questions, they can come into the private sessions and get their questions answered. You should not be doing this alone. So while you can take the 3 questions I just shared with you today and absolutely run with them, I promise you, they're no fail. If you would really like to make sure you are doing everything correctly in job interviews, then this course is for you. And this course, along with the other 5, all 6 of these courses are inside the platform that you can try for 7 days for free. We offer a 7-day free trial because we get it. The number one thing people say when they come inside the program is, why didn't I join sooner? And it's because you don't understand what you're getting. This is absolutely the foolproof way to make sure you are crushing job interviews, having the right courses, having the right coaching, and having the right community. And you can try it now free for 7 days. So if you go over to Work It Daily, and just to give you an idea, our standard membership starts at $39 a month. You would have access to all of this, 5 live sessions a week, our community, what could $39 for 1 month do for you? These courses cost thousands of dollars other places. But we wanted to build a gym membership that you could do from your couch. We wanted to build a shared experience so that people could afford this. And that's why this is so powerful. So when's your day? I mean, today's the perfect day. I'm recording this on a Thursday. That would give you 7 full days. Over the weekend, you could just literally sit and listen to this while you're sitting on the couch doing something. And I guarantee you, your mind's going to be blown because unfortunately, there are a lot of little things that people aren't doing correctly in interviews, and you don't know it until you go through a top to bottom course like this. We built this course from the perspective of recruiters and hiring managers. We tell you what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. We tell you why they do the things that they do. That is so vitally important for you to go into interviews with confidence. So if you've ever been thinking about, is today the day that I invest and I go work with JT and her team, and you are preparing for interviews, this is your sign. Go to Work It Daily, get a 7-day free trial, and jump right into issue number 2, not getting job offers. And this is the course that you will complete. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay. So now we have a question. This is a really good question. I want to thank everyone who's been sending questions in. In fact, just a reminder, I'm going to show you this. So excited about it. We have this new thing with SpeakPipe where you can record an audio for me. It can be private. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. And what it does is let you record a question that I can do on the show. We're always looking for great questions for the show. So if you have a question, here it is. We are also putting that link in all the reminders for the live podcast. Reminders to attend. The video link is now in there as well. Okay. But what we're going to do now is we're going to listen to one, and I'm going to give you some advice on it. So listen up.
What is the best way to get in front of decision maker for the role that you're vying for?
Let's listen to that again.
What is the best way to get in front of decision maker for the role that you're vying for?
There you go. This is probably one of the most popular questions that I get asked on social media. JT, how do I get in front of the decision maker? How do I get directly to the hiring manager? And the reason I'm seeing a surge in this request is because you are all finally figuring out that applying online is a waste of your time. See, applying online, that application is not going to the hiring manager. Let's be very clear. That application is going into a big data dump, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. And then recruiters are going through those applications using a skim test. A skim test is called the first pass. So what they do is they don't read your application top to bottom. They're skimming it and making sure that you have the 5 or 6 main criteria to even be considered for the job, or you're not moving forward. Then out of those, they look at it and say, well, I'm not going to give the hiring manager all 20 of the people that pass the skin test. I'm going to find the 5 or 6 that look the best, because that's why I'm the recruiter. The hiring manager doesn't have time to look through these. They just want the best of the best. And I'm the recruiter, so I'm going to decide based on a sheet of paper who the best of the best is. This is why there is a next to nil chance that you're ever going to be seen by that hiring manager. Do you see what I mean? So this question is very smart, because you want to try to go around and get to the hiring manager. Now, I have a lot of recruiters that watch this and they're going to come at me, and I get it. But remember, I'm here for the job seeker, and they are up against a stone wall right now. So if there is a company that is hiring, and you've, first of all, you've gone to their corporate website and you have confirmed that they have an opening on their corporate website, because there are a lot of scams out there right now on all the other job board platforms. So if you see a job on a job board platform, please go directly to the company's corporate website, make sure the job is legit and that it's posted there, and then apply there. Okay, that's the safest way to apply. Now, even though you applied there, again, there's still a lot of hoops, so there's not a chance that you're going to be seen, but at least you've applied, and I'll tell you why. Now you can back channel. So the number one way to get to the hiring manager is to say, all right, what department would that job be in? What department? And go find the people that would work in that department on LinkedIn, right? Go look up job titles that you know would all sit in that department. Find at least 5 people at that company that work in that department and ask them to connect on LinkedIn. and send a note. So I'm not saying an in-mail, folks. I'm saying go to their profile, hit the connect button, and when it says, do you want to add a note, hit yes, and then say, I'm a big fan of the company. I have a quick question. Can we connect? All right. Now, why did I say 5 people? Because not all 5 people are going to connect with you, but all you need is 1 to connect with you. Okay. Now, that does a couple of things for you. First of all, when people connect with you, if a recruiter looks you up, it will show that you are connected to people at their company, and that is great for you. Recruiters like to contact people who have connections at the company. So one of the reasons you do this back channeling technique is just to get them to accept the connection request so that if a recruiter looks at you, it shows you have got connections at the company. Got it? If they connect, or when someone connects, you then message them and say, thank you for connecting. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the company. So much so that I just applied to the XYZ job. All right. I'm wondering if you could give me your one best piece of advice for standing out so that I can get to the hiring manager. I'm not asking you for the job, but given that you are working there successfully, I'd love your one piece of advice. See, when you connect with people, you can't ask them for the job, and you shouldn't ask them to introduce you to the hiring manager. That's too pushy. They don't know you. But you can ask them for their advice on what they did to stand out and get their job. And notice I said your one piece of advice, because everyone can immediately think of one thing and share it with you. But if you ask a question that's too broad and they feel like it's going to take a long time to respond, they're not going to respond. So when you do it very simply like that, they're like, yeah, I can give you my advice. But you know what happens? They check out the profile. They love that you asked that and didn't try to just ask to meet the hiring manager. And so then they're like, actually, here's the hiring manager's name, connect with them directly. Or they pass it on to the hiring manager and say, hey, this person reached out and they were looking for advice. They look like they might be a fit. This works exceptionally well. And by the way, there are a lot of companies right now that are saying to their team, if someone back channels to you and they look good, let me know, because they're getting so many applicants that are false that they want people who are going the extra mile through back channeling. And that's how they're getting to the hiring manager. And this is working. I know it's working for a fact, because in my private sessions over on my Work It Daily platform with my membership clients, every day in my live sessions, they're like, the back channeling worked. I've got an interview. Hiring manager connected with me. It's working. So you've just got to learn the techniques in order to make it happen. But this is what's working right now. Does that make sense, everybody? Yeah, awesome. Okay. All right. So a couple things that I want to remind you on. I'm going to give you this link. It is my personal free resource page. If you haven't checked out my free resource page, now is the time. I'm going to put it here in the chat. And the reason I want you to check it out is because we've got a couple of great things like that speak pipe to be able to send me a message. You can, if you haven't joined our free resource center, if you want to direct message with me, I have a new feature there. There's lots of good stuff going on my free resources. I'll show it to you right here. Right. And I want to tell you, I've partnered with some companies that have got jobs across the country, and I'm now listing them on this page as well. So there's quite a few companies that have jobs all across the country that you can check out. All right. So a whole bunch of things on my free resource center. But again, I really just want to remind you, today's likely your day. Today's your day where you grab your 7-day free trial to Work It Daily. You get in here and you start on our course number 2, issue number 2, no job offers, and you learn top to bottom what to be doing in job interviews. Because unless you can tell me that you've worked with someone that's taught you top to bottom everything that you're seeing here, you are absolutely missing out. And there could be a chance you're doing something wrong. And I don't want that for you. My team and I don't want that for you. Okay. So come join us. We would absolutely love to have you. Go to workitdaily.com, grab your 7-day free trial, and you will be good to go. Okay. And I will put that up there one more time. There it is. All this could be yours. All of this video training, all of the support, all free for 7 days. All right. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Well, I hope to see you all. I'll put Work It Daily's link right now in the chat. And that's where you can go over and grab the 7-day free trial. And yep, there it is, workitdaily.com. And I will see you all next week. Yes, I hope you all send in a lot of voice questions. I hope a bunch of you decide to join us in the platform. And I will see you soon. Okay, good luck with those interviews. Don't forget to ask those questions. Rewatch the recording. Okay, bye, everybody.